I'm Bruce Cameron. I'm the vacancy pastor at Ebenezer Lutheran Church in St. Louis. And for the next several days, I want to talk about Isaiah chapter 55. I'm going to start in the middle of the chapter, where the Lord talks through Isaiah about the promises he has made. Isaiah brought a lot of the promises of God in the middle of some words of judgment, of the prophecies of the destruction of Judah and of Israel and of Jerusalem, that it would not come about because of the Assyrian Empire, but that the Assyrians would fall to the Babylonians. And Isaiah, even before the Babylonians were the big empire and the power of the world, Isaiah predicted an exile and a return from the exile. He said that the people of Jerusalem would be carried off into exile, including the king, the descendant of David, that the city and the temple would be burned. And Isaiah did not live to see that happen, but the people waited for his words to come about. And so they heard the promises, and they waited. And the return did come about, that there was comfort. There was a message of comfort to the people and a road that led back from Babylon all the way back to Jerusalem. And then the promises of comfort focused in the centuries later on the words that Isaiah had said about a virgin who would conceive and bear a son, and this son would be Emmanuel, God with us. Isaiah said, "To us a child is born, to us a son is given. His name will be Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace." Isaiah said that there would be a servant of God who would carry our griefs, carry our sorrows, that the Lord would lay on him the iniquity of us all. We listen to those promises and we look back at Jesus to say those promises were fulfilled when Jesus came. And we have now, since the time of Jesus, promises that are given to us that have not yet been fulfilled or not come to their full completion. Promises of the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life everlasting. So in that sense, we are still like the people of Isaiah's day. Promises have been made to us, but have not yet been completed. And so there is another promise in the middle of Isaiah chapter 55. As the rain and the snow come down from heaven, and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish, so that it yields seed for the sower and bread for the eater, so is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty. It will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. You trust the waters. The rain comes down, and it doesn't just go back up into the sky. It waters the fields and the gardens. It grows the plants. And the Lord says the same way, you trust my word. You trust me to back up my word. It will not come back up to me empty. It will accomplish what I sent it for. My thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are my ways your ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are above the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. And the Lord is not simply saying, I got things that I understand that you don't. But he is saying that we who have learned to not always trust promises. People say things but they can't always back them up. They promise to do things, and they can't always fulfill what they say they will do. And the Lord says, I'm not like that. My ways are not like yours. When Jesus said to his disciples, I give you my peace, not the way the world gives. My peace I give to you. And then, as you trust his promise, you have a promise that comes to the end of the chapter. You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace. And yes, joy in the middle of a world that has funerals. Peace in the middle of a year that has a pestilence. The mountains and the hills will burst into song, even when there is emptiness and trouble, division in the society around us. All the trees of the field will clap their hands. Instead of thorns, there will be pine trees. Instead of briers, there will be the myrtle trees. The Lord is not going to let his promises come back empty. What Jesus did, the victories that he won, which he says can be our joy and our peace and our song and our victories, they don't come from us. They don't rely on us. But just as we rely on the water to water the ground, so we can rely on the Lord to back up his words. He will not let his promises come back empty. We need to rely on that. We need to know that, even though it doesn't appear that way this day in July. We know that the Lord is with us always. He is Emmanuel. He is God with us. He is the Prince of Peace that was promised. He is the servant of the Lord. The Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all, and the Lord raised him back to life to be a living Lord with us. This will be for the Lord's renown. It will be an everlasting sign that will never be destroyed.